Hey guys, so if you aren't aware, the new killer dropped recently today, March 30th, and I want to make a tier list including him and the two small buffs that were given to killers, Wraith and Blight. Um, so yeah, let me just jump into this. Just please make sure you like and subscribe because yeah, this video was really tedious to make because I had to make multiple because one, my mic didn't work, and the other I just did poorly. Okay, let's jump into it. Huntress. I'm gonna put Huntress A tier. Before I put her B plus, but I think I was unfair just because of her potential. She can. It's really. She's super strong. She can. Her one shot combo. Well, not one shot combo, but fast down combo, melee hatchet. Throw hatchet in melee. If they're out of position, that's a kill for you. I mean, yeah. Uh, there's not much you can do about that because the hatchet cooldown's pretty fast, and if you have add-ons, it's even better. And she has range potential. It's pretty easy, depending on the map you're on, to get decent shots, to pressure objectives from far away, to pressure other survivors while in a chase with another survivor. Wind up the hatchet, if there's another survivor there, you hit them and you chase the other survivor. You can also pressure a long line of sights. You can pressure a generator while mid-chase. I've actually done that before. It's kind of funny. You wind up a hatchet, you add another survivor at the survivor you're chasing, and then you flick kind of. You don't really flick because it's inaccurate, but you kind of just turn and throw it at them, and most survivors won't really react immediately to that, and you get a nice little free hit. Same with you can just pressure them off things mid-chase. You can pressure two survivors at once. I've done that before too, again, where, I mean, these things, I'm not just saying them because you can do them, I'm saying them because I have done them. You can hit another survivor while in mid-chase with another one because they peeked you or they were near you. Yeah, Huntress can do that with their range potential. Okay, let's go on to Oni. I believe he is the first killer that is appearing in my newly made A plus tier, just because I feel like he's just better than A tier, but he's not on par with Nurse, just because he doesn't always have his power. But when he does have his power, he's better than Nurse. But it's just tough to really grade him because everybody always brings up you got to get that first hit, and it's like, yeah, but once you do, you're playing. Once you have your power, you're the best killer in the game, undoubtedly. But you got to get that power, and it's not hard. Okay, you hit a survivor once, just one survivor. There is always a weak link in every game you play. There's never I played two games maybe where there was not a weak link, where they all were good. And if I wasn't playing Nurse, I lost that one probably. But yeah, very very rarely um are there no weak links in a game. So you can play Oni successfully every game. He's not hard to play. You can get value out of him. His power is really good. Yeah, there's his mobility, lethality. There's just so much good about him. His lethality is so good, and his mobility is so good, in his power that you just cannot put him in A tier anymore. I just can't keep on saying he's as good as those killers. Because if you look at, like, I don't know, Freddy. He's another killer I'm gonna put in A, but above Huntress. Freddy just doesn't have the lethality of Oni and the mobility. Just because his mobility is on a timer and his lethality is dependent on survivors running into it, and really pre-place that or hope that they'll stay at the loop while you're placing it, which they probably will. Then you just drop the paladin. You don't get a free hit out of that if they pre-drop it. You don't, unless they actually try to play it, then you do, but you don't insta down, so chases can still last a while. Oni's better than Freddy, and when I really see that, I'm like, yeah, Oni's A plus. So yeah, same with Freddy. Freddy's A. He's really good. He shouldn't be as good as he is with requiring little to no skill whatsoever. He doesn't even take game sense like Spirit. Okay, I'm gonna bring up Spirit now, but I think she's better than Oni. Spirit takes little skill, okay, but she takes more than Freddy. She takes game sense, which is it's skill in a way, but that's about it. She takes hearing and game sense, and she's strong, and I think she's the same with the problem with Freddy is she's too easy. She provides too much value for how easy she is to play. She's not like, okay, let me get this killer. She's not like the Nurse where you play her and you are terrible your first time and get nothing, and you play her more and more and more, and eventually you get good. You learn things. You keep on learning. With Nurse, there is never a limit to how good you can be. There's the sky's the limit, okay? And you just don't unlock all that value right away. Where with Spirit, she might be hard a bit, but you learn how to hear, I guess, and you learn survivor pathing, and sure, you can become better with Spirit. There's a bit of a skill cap, I guess, in a way, but her skill floor is just she's easy to play after you just learn. That's all you got to do. Learn the game, and you're good at Spirit. Ghostface, controversial opinion, I guess, but I say he's C. People probably would put him B, but it's just I don't think a killer without a loop ending mechanic or a chase ending mechanic thing built into their power can be anything above B. Just because, what are you going to do if they decide to loop you as Ghostface, right? I mean, you turn invincible, sure, but you hide your Terroritis and your Red Stain, that can help, but the cooldown's just so long after you've been revealed that it doesn't really matter. If you've gone on a chase long enough to get that, then it's probably a waste and you're kind of doing bad already. Ghostface has a one-shot down. Don't get me wrong, on certain maps that's really good, but the majority of maps it's just not. It's pretty. If you use your eyes, you can counter Ghostface. A very, very popular perk. Two very popular perks. I see them run in most of my matches that I play as killer are Sprint Burst and Spine Chill. I see Sprint Burst more because I don't really see Spine Chill unless I'm paying attention in game. But Sprint Burst will destroy a Ghostface, same as Spine Chill. Those two perks can really crush him, and it's hard to play into those because they can reposition the Sprint Burst and know that you're coming with Spine Chill. Yeah, there's not much more to say about Ghostface. His crouching doesn't help him really, and he has nothing to help him in a loop besides that surprise, and that surprise won't help you that much against a good killer. Billy, so I'm moving him up into A. Before I put him in B+, but I think I was a little dumb for doing that. You can't look at a killer with insane mobility and a one-shot kill. Granted, they have to kind of be out of position or playing poorly to use it, or you have to just be playing out of your mind. But yeah, you can't look at a killer like that and say B+. Just not. It's like with Blight. Let's bring out Blight. I think he's either the second or third best killer in the game. I'll put him in between Spirit, but above Oni. Blight, you can't just think bad about him. I mean, he has insane mobility, insane lethality. He can pressure. He's just insane, Blight is really good, and his potential. He has the potential to be maybe on par with Nurse, really, but it's just a lot of maps are a bit harder for him, and that's what I think really drags him down is the map. If you get a map with just if you get like Leary's or Hawkins or stuff like that, it's pretty hard to play. Same with Blood Lodge. There's just so many loops within a tight area that you can't really use your power to transition as well. Um, yeah, but Blight overall, besides those things, is insane, and that's why he's A+. I'm really using this A+ tier too. It's not something I made to put one killer in, but I really think these killers, like, this is Nurse. She is meta. She's the best that you can play. She is what you will see the best killers in tournaments. But after that, you see a lot of Spirits. These are the two that you will see at this tournament. That's it. These are the only two killers you see. That's why I think Spirit's the best of A+ tier, which is so close to being S, but Nurse is just better. This just it. Potentially Nurse is better than Spirit, and that's why she's up there. Spirit is really, really, really good though. But yeah, these are the only two killers you see in tournaments, and I think we might actually start seeing Blight in like pro tournaments. You might already. I'm not caught up with that, but yeah, Blight might be introduced in tournaments once people really, really start to see that he can maybe compete with Spirit. But yeah, I took a bit too much time on that. I'm gonna start going faster with these. Hag. So I think she has the same thing with Freddy, where in Spirit, where she doesn't take much skill to get an insane amount of value. She is super annoying to play against. She's super boring to play against and to play as, in my opinion. I don't like campy killers. I don't like that really. I don't like playing like a trash can. And her powers are not really easy to counter unless you are a coordinated team who can coordinate with one person to follow the Hag around and antagonize them. If you do, Hag is terrible. If you just prevent her from putting on traps, but other than that, if Hag is able to put down her traps and set up her little web, as they call it, then yeah, she's really strong, and there's not much you can do against her. If she puts down her traps, she's won the game. I think she might be better than Blight, not Blight, but these two killers. Because Huntress, she's really map dependent as Hag isn't, whereas Hag isn't. Doctor, I'm gonna put him B+, but he's gonna be the lower end of B+, just because I feel like he's better than B. Oh, what did I do? That's not good. There we go. Sorry. I feel like he's better than B, but I don't know if he's really B+ either. Actually, yeah, he's B+, yeah. He has detection, which I love about Doctor, by the way. I hate hiding. I hate stealthy survivors. I think stealthy survivors are bad at the game and they need to learn how to play. But he counters that. You can't really stuff against the Doctor. Plus, his shot helps him in chases, and yeah, he's really good. He has a bit of slowdown. Not much else to be said about Doctor. He's low. He's high mid tier really. That's where he belongs. B is high mid tier really. I'm gonna put Deslinger in B plus this time. He is really moving up. At first, I put him in D tier. I just thought he was terrible. Then I think I put him in B, and now he's in B plus. He's just making his way. Although I do not think he will ever be put higher than B plus, just because of the fact that you have to reload in between every single shot, and that really weighs down on him. Plus the fact that you aren't always guaranteed the injure if they're all the down if they're injured. You can maybe shoot them, but then they waste your time because you shot them at a pallet as soon as they vaulted. So then you can waste a lot of time against them, and the fact that he's slow just can bring him down. Maybe he's worse. Yeah, he's worse than Doctor. Maybe it's just I can't put him any lower just because a killer that can potentially counter any form of chasing against the survivor, except for really safe pallets. It's just you can't put them low. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try to go a bit faster because I'm taking a while on this. Okay, Executioner. I believe he is the last killer that I'm gonna put in A, especially since I've got a lot, and I don't think there even are that many in A. Maybe Billy and Huntress can go B plus, but I'm gonna keep him there for now. Yeah. He can one shot without. He can hit injure you without being in line of sight. It's also AOE, so if you're a big camper or they're bottlenecked in midwich, I guess you could say, kind of like that. I've gotten in situations where that would work. Yeah, you can get that double hit. Problem is, it's really punishing if you miss, and his zoning is a bit worse than it used to be when he first came out. So yeah, he can his main power is really only good, or secondary power. I don't know what it is, but it's really only good. Just it's sort of slugging, but you're hooking them. So yeah, he's just a good slugger, but it's not slugging. But you don't really always use it, so it's just basically his power really does lie within his punishment attack. But yeah, Demogorgon, I believe he's B. Um, he's good, but he's not the best. He has mobility and he has lethality in the form of his shred, and he can zone. I'm just gonna stop it with there because everybody knows what Demo does. He's a pretty basic killer. Twins, B in front of Demo though. Twins, they have a problem where if the team is coordinated, you cannot do anything against them because the twins are useless against a coordinated team. If the team has medkits and even has slight coordination, then you're useless. And if the team has, and if anybody on the team really has medkits and unbreakable, then you're useless. It's just she's situationally really overpowered, but if they have coordination, she just sucks. So if they don't have coordination, then she's higher if they do, which is common nowadays. She's lower, so I'm just gonna put her in between. Really, what I think. Clown is C, but he's like super low C. The buff made him a bit better, sure. He has some really good add-ons now. His cigar box is insane. If you have that, Clown maybe can be even B because it's hard to loop a killer that can see your aura all the time, so they can really do mind games. They can mind game you better because they know exactly where you are. I'm gonna move on from Clown because he's a pretty basic killer. You throw gas and survivors can't really loop you. Plague, I feel like is B plus, but I want to put her at the very top because I am starting to think that Plague is really good. I'm becoming a Plague main really. Besides Nurse and Huntress, those will always be my mains. But Plague, uh, she's just fun and she's good in my opinion. So survivors have one of two choices. They cleanse, and if one survivor cleanses, everyone starts to cleanse. It's kind of how it goes. You cannot stay injured against a killer that can shoot you from range. Her power, if she has it, it makes her S tier. She's just insane with her power. But the fact that she doesn't always have her power, like Oni, brings her down a bit. But it's harder to get than Oni. But the thing is, if they decide not to cleanse, they are one shot throughout the whole entire game, and they are much easier to track. And you can tell if a survivor has been in that area because the objects they interact with will be infected, so you know kind of where to look. Also, if you have Thanatophobia, which I highly suggest you run on Plague, she is really good because generators take almost 100 seconds to complete instead of 80 nearly. So yeah, our Plague is really good. It forces them to cleanse people with Thanat, and then with her power, she is just insane. I literally okay, this happened today. Okay, I was playing Plague, and a game went from me doing pretty bad to having 4 4K slug, of having 4 slug in the ground and resulting in a 4K because I got her power. All the survivors cleansed on me, and I got my power because they all cleansed and it gave it to me. And I downed 2 survivors, downed another one because they went to save as I was kicking the gen. And then I saw the last one. I'm like, game over. And within 60 seconds, I had every survivor down. It was nice. Her power is really strong. I spent too much time on her. I'm gonna go on Wraith, which was the newly updated killer. He is now a decent killer in my opinion. He's viable, or I don't know if that's in the word, but yeah. He's Wraith, but he moves faster, 150% now, so you don't need Windstorm to play him, meaning you have more space for other add-ons, meaning Wraith is a good killer now. He's probably more fun to play too, now that he's fast. He can zoom across the map. I'm gonna put... I'll put... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put... Yeah, this looks about right. Bubba, he can one-shot survivors, and that's where his power comes from. He can camp too, that's where his power comes from at the rank 20s, I guess. But yeah, Bubba, let me think. You know, there's not much to Bubba. He can one-shot, that's about it. You can't really counter a chainsaw by running around something like he used to be able to do, so he's better. He probably isn't better than new Wraith or Demo, though, now that I think about it. Yeah. Okay, Legion, he's C, but I'm gonna put him at the top of C just because he has pressure and detection, and he always has survivors at one shot, really, because you don't always heal against him, because, I mean, yeah, you just don't. He's always gonna have you injured, really, because he's gonna feral you, unless you split up. If you split up, then he's much worse. He probably is the worst killer if you split up, because he has nothing. But survivors don't often split up, so yeah. I'm just gonna put him in C. I think he's better than Ghostface, because he can have survivors that one shot most of the time, and they have to mend. And so that is slowdown and lethality, kind of, and detection. But it's all pretty low tier besides the detection and lethality, kind of. So yeah. Michael Myers, I'm gonna put in C, but above everyone, he's like top of C. Michael Myers is okay depending on the survivor you're facing. If they're foreheads, then yeah. But same with any killer, really. But he just gets better if they're foreheads than most killers. Well, yeah, he's not better than most killers, but he just... Never mind. He's just not as good, really. A lot of killers just do what he does, but better. Plague can have them all one-shot while still playing the game. She doesn't have to stop, really, to stalk forever to get that one-shot. She just pukes on people, and it happens naturally. And then she has a power that makes her S tier. So, yeah. The weaker side of Plague is better than the stronger side of Michael Myers, in my opinion, and that just makes her better, and that makes him worse. And then same with Legion. Everybody can be at the one shot, but it's harder to get than Michael Myers because if they're spread out, then oh well. Yeah. So that's about it with every part of the tier list besides the D tier. Now we're moving on to the killers that they're not good at all. Like if you face an even halfway decent team, you're gonna have trouble against them unless you have like super meta build with really good add-ons. And even then, these two killers just don't have really good add-ons. So, Trickster, I believe he is the best of the worst. The best of the worst, yeah. It's just because he can down survivors pretty... he can down survivors pretty consistently, just because they can't really loop you for a super long time. But that's all he does. It's like Old Legion, just worse in a way. Because Old Legion, it was a definite time, like everyone said, it was just like 30 seconds and you went down, or even less than that, more or less, give or take, I guess, but probably was less. With him, it's just they just deny you line of sight until they can't anymore, and then they're dead, because if you have line of sight, you're just gonna nail them with your knife. I'm gonna move on because he's not very interesting. I think he's just a boring killer. I honestly think he's worse than the twins, but not if the twins are played correctly, because then they're just camping little butt cheeks. But yeah, I like the twins a lot more than the new killer 2, just because I like their power. The fact that there's 2 of them, it's just unique. But his isn't very unique. When you have Plague, who's way better, and Huntress, who's way better, like these 2 killers just make him look like a potato. I don't know how else to put it. Trapper, he has been suffering for quite a long time. He has been bad for quite a long time, and he just isn't good. That's all I can say. His power takes time to set up, and even then, survivors can disable it. Let's see, if a team is coordinated, they'll just know, like, if they have object, they'll be like, he put a trap at the main building, he put a trap at Shack, he put a trap, like, even really good survivor teams have, like, call-outs, so yeah, there you go. Call us just counter trapper, object of possession counter trapper. Like good survivor teams just make it impossible. Even like you often can face coordinated teams. Like I face coordinated teams every now and then where it seems like they're in a sweat. It seems like they know, sort of. And yeah, if you face those, just trapper's useless. Good thing is I main nurse, so like it doesn't matter either way. But then Pig, with Pig, she's probably the worst. It just, yeah, her traps are bad. Her dash is bad. Her stealth is terrible because it makes you move slower than survivors. You're basically moving at nerf speed, but with no terror radius. And stealth, honestly, is the worst thing in the game just because it doesn't do much to good survivors, especially the sprint burst. Because yeah, that's a really popular perk. Dead Hardened sprint bursts are popular amongst good survivors. You see like useless always bringing sprint burst. I bring sprint burst. I'm not gonna say I'm a really good survivor, but I'm experienced at the game, so yeah. Yeah, Sprinter's just counter stealth, and that's why a lot of the stealth killers are low down here. Like, he's the highest one of the stealth killers, I think, right? Yeah, none of them else are stealths. But yeah, that's it with this tier list. Of course, you see Nurse is the best, like always, and these two killers are the worst, like normal. Not much else to say. Not much has changed besides a few differences. Like these two are up, these three are up higher in this A plus tier list. But yeah, you probably haven't watched that this far into the video because listening to people talk a lot might be boring. But if you have, like, subscribe and comment down below what you think about this tier list because I know a lot of you guys are gonna come at me about Plague not being as good or about Deslinger being better or Hag being better or Hillbilly being worse, or Blight being the best killer in the game, or whatever, or Trickster you haven't played, because I have played Trickster, but I don't like him, and I don't think he's good, so I probably won't ever play him again. But yeah, that's it with this. Bye everyone, and thanks for watching.